Hello students, today I am going to discuss on the topic Middle Paleolithic cultural phase of Europe, particularly the Mousterian. Let me first introduce about this topic. The Middle Paleolithic industries of Europe, the Near East and the North Africa, as well as the Middle Stone Age industries of Sub-Saharan Africa are found between approximately 250,000 to 30,000 years ago. The Middle Paleolithic period is defined largely on the basis of core technology and predominantly plaque tools that are found most of Europe, Asia and Africa. The Middle Paleolithic period witnessed an increase in the proportion of prepared cores, especially Levallois cores, an increase in the size and complexity of Ritter's plaque tools, and a decrease in the number of large core tools like Acheulian picks and annexes. This period also witnessed improvements in hunting technology and abilities. Most of the Middle Paleolithic industries in Europe are grouped in the Mousterian complex, although some are referred to as separate tradition. Middle Paleolithic industries characterized by blade technologies are particularly concentrated in northwestern Europe. In Spain, a Basconian Mousterian is distinguished by the addition of cleavers. In southern Europe, the Mousterian industries are often characterized by very small implements. Now, let us discuss on the Mousterian tradition. Mousterian is a lithic tool tradition which evolved from Acheulian tradition during the Middle Paleolithic. This tradition is named after the type site of Le Moustier in Dordogne, France by Gravel de Mortillet in the 19th century. Le Moustier is a rock shelter where a partial skeleton of Neanderthal youth was excavated in 1909. Artifacts from the Middle Paleolithic sequence of this rock shelter were given the name of Mousterian tools. Mortillet introduced the terms like Moustrian, Aurignacian and Magdalenian in order of increasing complexity to designate the tools from the French side of Le Moustier, Le Aurigny and Le Magdalene, etc. Now let's come to the important Mousterian sites. Some of the important countries of Europe where Mousterian sites are located are listed below. They are France, Spain, Germany, Italy, Hungary, Croatia, Bulgaria, Ukraine and Greece. There are many Mousterian sites in the countries beyond Europe also. They are in Turkey, Uzbekistan, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Israel and Africa. Now let us discuss about the Mousterian technology. The Middle Paleolithic in Europe is essentially an industry based on the production, shaping and use of flax, although annexes generally smaller than those of earlier times continue to be made. These flax are manufactured in various ways, two of the most common being the use of Mousterian and Levallois techniques. In the Mousterian technique, flax are struck from a core from each edge, moving radially around the circumference to remove successive flax. The end result is that cores do not resemble semi-flattened oval or round discs with negative scars of flax removals projecting in from the edge on both the surfaces. The flags that are produced in this way can vary considerably in shape and size. The Levallois technique is more complex. Several steps are necessary to shape the nodule around its edge, to shape the broad surface, to guide the force of the blow, so that ultimately a flag may be removed corresponding to the desired shape. Many such Levallois flags may have been used without further retouching. Most of the Levallois and Mousterian flags are further shaped by retouch. Hence, Mousterian artifacts are much more specialized than Acheulian tools. Mousterian industries are characterized by the use of both Mousterian or discoidal and Levallois techniques to produce flags, blades, naturally backed knives, and points made on locally available raw materials and high quality exotic flints. Very few bone tools and a few flag shell tools have also been found in some sites. Now let us discuss on the Mousterian typology. French archaeologist François Botz developed an elaborate typology for the Mousterian artifacts with 63 different types of flag tools recognized, based largely on their shape and the location of retouch, with some attention to the appearance or kind of retouch scale as well. He established large categories such as points, side scrapers, and denticulated or knot species, and further subdivided these into recurring types. Using graphs of the cumulative percentage of the tool types in an assemblage, François Botz distinguished 4 major variants of the French Mousterian. They are as follows: the Carintine groove, the typical groove, the Mousterian of Acheulian tradition, and the denticulate Mousterian. Now let us discuss on the use of other raw materials in the Middle Paleolithic. Due to the problems of preservation, only a few artifacts made of raw materials other than stone are known from the Middle Paleolithic period of Europe. There is an evidence of a wooden spear with a fire-hardened tip. It is 2 meters in length. It was found from the Ledingen site, North Germany. Microscopic wear analysis of stone tools in France suggest woodworking activity and wood were the important elements of Neanderthal technology. Wood was also used as fuel, as evidenced by the numerous finds of wood charcoal in hearths. Bone is another material that was used in technology, as several smooth polished bone points have been found. Bone and antlers seems often to have been roughly flagged to create working ends and edges for use as scrapers, heavy-duty knives, or possible retouchers. Height working is another important activity identified through microscopic use wear analysis. The use of force is suggested by the high number of skeleton remains of small fur bearers in faunal assemblages. Plant products were presumably utilized, as indicated by scant traces of plant polish on some stone tools. Pieces of tree resin with the imprint of stone tools have been found at a site in Germany. Mineral pigments, especially hematite or red ochre, were also used. It is evident from the traces of the pigment on the faces of the quina scrapers and also from an apparent quarry for hematite found in Hungary. The pigments might have been used for dyeing, body painting, ritual, etc. The finds of lignite from a site southern France suggest that this form of gold might have also been occasionally used as fuel, perhaps when wood was scarce. Now let us come to the relationship between Neanderthals and Mousterian tradition. Traditionally, the Mousterian technological shift was thought to be very closely associated with the early forms of Homo sapiens and especially with the emergence of Neanderthal men. The Mousterian date range roughly coincides with that of the skeletal evidence for the Neanderthals. However, the relationship between Mousterian technology and human evolution is now recognized to be significantly more complex. The hominid remains found in most European and many Western Asian Mousterian contexts are unambiguously Neanderthals. However, a few European Neanderthal fossils occur in post-Mousterian contexts such as Saint Cesar and Grotte du Reni at Arcy-sur-Cour. At some sites, anatomically modern humans have been found in levels that yield Mousterian technology in the Near East. This suggests that modern humans made Mousterian tools. Furthermore, towards the end of the Neanderthal date range, around 40,000 to 35,000 before presence, the remains of Neanderthals seem to be associated with early variants of Upper Paleolithic blade-based technology, that is, the Châtel-Perronnian in France, the Gelatian of Central Europe, and the Uluggian of Italy. The next point is on social and religious life during Mousterian tradition. Mousterian sites show evidence for significant development in economic, social, and cognitive behavior in comparison to the preceding early Paleolithic culture. Neanderthals buried their dead. Voluntary burial is indicative of respect and appreciation, as well as a way to hide the body from scavengers, which also imply concern about death. Neanderthal burials have been located in several areas, mainly in southern France, Italy, northern Balkans, the Near East, and Central Asia. The so-called old man, a partial skeleton of the species Homo neanderthalensis from La Chapelle-aux-Champs in France, was found in a rectangular hole dug in the ground of a cave. It suggests the intentional burial. Some burials were found with evidence of rituals, that is, with grave goods. The presence of fragmentary, often burned, human skeleton remains from Mousterian sites such as Krapina in Croatia has led many to suppose that cannibalism played a part in Mousterian lifeways as a subsistence option and as a mortuary ritual. Although grave goods may have been placed in some graves and lumps of ochre or manganese, some faceted from views are common. Indisputable symbolic artifacts are rare in European Mousterian sites. Now let us come to the settlement patterns during the Mousterian tradition. Wherever Mousterian industries are found, their appearance usually coincides with fluctuating but cooling climates. In Europe, this period witnesses a gradual retreat of deciduous forests and their replacement throughout much of the continent, first by boreal forests and later by steppe tundra. Although Neanderthals are often described as cold adapted, but their evidence is very scarce. Mousterian cave occupations preserve concentrations of ash and burned bone that are probably hearts. At a few sites, excavators have identified concentrations of stone and bone that may be the footings for tents and windbreaks. There is a very clear trace or cast of a posthole at Combe Granal and at several French sites, and a number of sharply delimited stone pavements of artificially constructed cobble floors were recovered in excavation. The best evidence for the construction of living structures in Mousterian site is provided by the excavation of pits up to 60 cm deep, dug into the consolidated cave deposits at Combe Granal, Le Moustrian and at La Guina. Now let us discuss on the subsistence pattern during the Mousterian tradition. Little is known of Mousterian plant food use, owing primarily to a lack of preservation. The large mammals whose bones occur regularly on Mousterian sites include cold, temperate species such as bison, wild cattle, horse, onager, reindeer, red deer, wild boar, ibex, fallow deer, and gazelle. Most Mousterian faunal assemblages feature a wide range of species rather than a single focal species. Stable isotope analysis of hominin and faunal remains from La Parache in France suggests that Neanderthals secure regular access to meat and fat. Evidence of marine mollusks is found at some Mediterranean, but fishing sites and fishing technologies are unknown. Dear students, now I would like to conclude with the following points. The Middle Paleolithic industries of Europe are found between 250,000 to 30,000 years ago. This period is defined largely on the basis of core technology and predominantly flag tools that are found in Europe. This period also witnessed improvements in hunting technology, which reflects both in the tools and the faunal remains. This tradition is named after the type site of La Moustrian in France by Gravel de Mortillet in the 19th century. The main technology of the Mousterian tradition is of two kinds, that is the discoidal or Mousterian technique and the Levallois technique. Traditionally, it was thought that Neanderthal men have a close relation with Mousterian tradition. Now this concept has become more complex. The Mousterian people started intentional burials with or without rituals on the one hand and cannibalism on the other. Although grave goods are found in some burials, the symbolic Mousterian tools are in Mousterian sites of Europe.